Hello and welcome back to another episode of Talking with Tanya. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite subjects, astrology. So I think astrology could be used as a major tool for self-discovery. Really learn more about yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses, what you're good at, what you like, your personality. And I know there's people who are skeptical, don't really believe in it. But I hope you keep an open mind. I personally love to be open-minded when it comes to anything. Really, I like to learn more about a subject before coming down to a conclusion whether I believe it's real or not. And it's definitely provided valuable insights for me. So it's why I wanted to make an episode on it to kind of show people what I've learned from it, it's helped me grow, and maybe you potentially could gain some insights from it as well. So astrology has actually been around for thousands of years. It's a system based on celestial body positions like the planets, the sun, asteroids, stars, and their influence on our lives. So it offers insights into our personality, relationships, if we're compatible with other people, and life events. I think even much more than that, but I wouldn't even say I'm like a professional at it. I am just an avid learner. I really enjoy the subject, and I feel like it's never ending. You could just keep learning more and more about the subject. I personally just use it as a tool for self-awareness and spiritual growth. Like even my own astrological chart, I've been learning about it, going over it for years, and there's still new things that come up that I'm like discovering about myself, and I'm like, how did I miss that? Because it's just so complex and it's just never ending. So the way astrology works, for those who don't know, there are 12 zodiac signs. Well, at least for Western astrology, that's the one I'm into, because there's different cultures have different versions of their astrology. So the way that Western astrology works is that there's 12 zodiac signs, and then there's 12 houses, each house representing a different area of our life. Also naturally ruled by one of the 12 zodiac signs. And each of the house are different. So it ranges from your personality, your childhood, relationship with your family, friendships, outlook on life, health, routine, pets even. Like it's anything you can think of, it seems to be in there. Planets in your chart influence how you experience life in different aspects, from your emotions to your communication, career, etc. So depending on where the planets fall in which area of your chart, in which different house, it can influence how you experience life in different aspects. So maybe if a planet is in one house, it'll highlight or have more of a focus on that area of your life. And it can either make things go smoother, easygoing, or add restrictions and challenges to it. It really depends on the signs that the planet is in, or how it interacts with the other planets that are in your chart. And each planet represents different characteristics. Like your sun sign is your ego, your individuality, your core essence. Your moon sign is your emotions, your subconscious, your values. Your Mercury is how you communicate, your interests, your likes, your dislikes, and so on and so forth, each planet having their own meaning. How I view astrology is more so of a language. Some people resonate more with that a lot. I feel like there's a lot of people who kind of see it as a higher power religion that you have to kind of believe in. It's more to me like a guide. It's like your manual. You're the driver and you just kind of use it to your advantage. And I once saw a TED Talk on a scientist talking about the flaws of astrology, how it doesn't make sense, there's not enough rules, or it's not consistent enough. But for me, it's more about seeing patterns and understanding ourselves better. Like I said, I think of it more of as a language. It doesn't really dictate what we do, it just guides us. So you still have the power to decide. It's more like a manual. So it's like when you have a new furniture, right? Or a dresser drawer, and you need to put it together. You can either follow the instructions and make life go smoother and faster, or you can just try to figure it out on your own and struggle a little bit on the way. But in the TED Talk, he was arguing that Libras, being the most balanced, because that's one of the traits of being a Libra, could be explained by the seasonality of the harvest, where the nutrients are better at the time. I don't know how they correlate, but it's just what he said. Another example he's giving is that Virgos tend to be more successful, but he said that could be explained by them starting in September, the school year in September, which also makes them the oldest and more having cognitive advantages, because when you're a child and as you grow, you're developing, and the older you are, the more developed you are, making it more advantageous for you to excel in academics. But how I see it is like you can either say, oh, I feel like you were the oldest in your class at the beginning of the school year, or you can just say, oh, are you a Virgo? So they're like interchangeable, but they still have the same meaning. But at the same time, it's a lot more like complex than that. It's not that simple. Not every Virgo is the same. You know, when you meet somebody and you ask their sign, they just give you a one-worded answer. Oh, I'm a Virgo, Cancer, Libra, whatever. But that's just your sun sign. Most people don't know that. So you actually have a moon sign, Mercury, Venus, rising, so on and so forth, every planet of the solar system. So a Virgo sun and a Leo moon is not the same as a Virgo sun and a Pisces moon. So the moon represents your emotions. Their emotional nature will start to come out the more you get to know them. And the Leo moon might be more like entertaining and performative and, you know, goofy and childlike, while the Pisces moon will be more intuitive and compassionate, empathetic, and sensitive. So, but they still have the same Virgo traits of being analytical and perfectionist and, you know, serving to others. So just with the sun and moon sign alone, right, the combination of the two, because you still have planets in other signs as well, they could come up with 12 different possible combinations of Virgos, Virgo suns. So you have a Virgo sun, Aries moon, Virgo sun, Taurus moon, so on and so forth. Each person has a unique birth chart. No two people have the same, with the exception of twins. Okay, now I want to talk about my chart. Like, what is it that I learned about myself, right? Why am I advocating for this as a form of self-discovery? So for me, I have in my chart, I'm a Cancer sun. So when you ask me, what's my sign? I'm a Cancer. So I'm very nurturing, I'm intuitive, I'm emotional at times, but I'm also a Capricorn moon. So although Cancer suns are, that Cancer is me at my essence, my, you know, a little bit of my identity, my personality. I like to take care of others, and it falls in the house of my 11th house. So the people who truly get to see that side of me the most are my friends, because it's a house of friendships, hope, and future, and technology. And so houses are also really detailed. It's not just like one certain thing. It has like a variety of aspects in one house. And I also have a Capricorn moon. So an aspect is how planets and luminaries like relate to each other, or like they next to each other, opposite of each other, you know, squaring each other. And depending on their placements, it can either cause tension between these two energies, or it can make the energy flow a lot more smoother. So for me, I'm a Cancer sun and a Capricorn moon, making the energy at odds. Like they're kind of, there's just tension there. They're not moving as freely as it could. And for me, having a Capricorn moon can signify that I kind of had to grow up a little too fast. I had responsibilities. I'm very emotionally walled off. So the two are like very at odds with each other. One's like very emotional and caring and nurturing, while the other one's like, leave me alone. I don't like connections. I don't know if I can trust you. I want to protect myself. But with these challenges, it kind of gives you perspective. So it's not all bad to have like negative aspects. Like it just gives you challenges, and I truly believe challenges come with character development. So I've definitely grown as a person. I'm not the same person I used to be, and astrology has helped me realize that. So yes, it's a pull between wanting emotional connection and self-preservation. So my the next one that I want to talk about is my Leo rising, so my ascendant. And your rising sign is basically where the sun rose on the eastern horizon, I think, in your chart. Don't quote me on that. But it just kind of signifies how you view life, right? How your perspective, how you start things, and your approach to things. And it also touches on into your personality. So for me, it makes me very charismatic and confident, and kind of like a childlike energy. I'm always like, oh, what is that? I'm very creative as well. It kind of, Leos are also associated with creativity and inner child and just being good with kids. So I love children. Strong creative energy, bold self-expression. People often notice me when I walk into a room, and I tend to shine in social settings. But then again, I also have that little Capricorn moon flavor to me, so sometimes I could come off as shy. It really depends on how my mood is and what my mindset is like, what I'm going through. But if I'm in a good mood and I feel like challenging myself, and I feel like letting my authentic self shine, then yes, I can definitely be charismatic and, be the life of the party. So the next one for me is Libra Chiron in the third house. So Chiron is actually also known as the wounded healer. It's something painful that we've experienced in our early life, that we kind of carry on throughout the rest of our lives. And we can either like overcompensate and try to run from this pain and try to avoid it as best we can, or you can kind of learn from it and integrate it and gather its wisdom and use it for, a better heartfelt experience. So for me, I struggle. Mine is in Libra in the third house. So the third house rules like communication and intellect. So I used to not think I was like the brightest person, and I struggle with communication. I don't know if you could tell, but sometimes I still do. It's definitely gotten a lot better over time. That's because I've learned that it's okay to make mistakes while speaking, while trying to express my ideas or put my ideas into words, or what I'm thinking into words. It's been a struggle, and I'm just showing myself compassion. So the area in where you need healing, where you've been wounded, definitely show yourself compassion. There's growth, wisdom to be gained from it, and don't discredit it as like something you need to hide from, or you need to hide that part of yourself from. You see, this is the Chiron in the third right here, really showing itself. But I might just keep it. I don't know. But so then it's also in Libra, and Libra signifies like relationships, balance. So you might feel guilty if you have this placement. I know I do. You might feel guilty saying no. You might be an overgiver, a people pleaser, kind of want to keep the peace and not like confrontation. So I think that really teaches me how to have a balance in what's fair, because they also rule fairness. So although I don't like, disruption, conflict, or any of that, I still felt the inner need to create inner harmony within myself. So it made me learn, how do I approach situations to where I can create peace and harmony without being so aggressive, argumentative, or causing friction. So there's definitely ways to do that, through speech and, compassion and empathy, and through listening. So this helped me gain the wisdom. I integrated it into my life, and I'm still working on it, because I could still tend to be a little bit of a people pleaser sometimes, but at least I'm aware of it. See, astrology helped me become aware. Now I'm using this as a tool, self-discovery, integrating it to my life. So the next placement is Ernest in the sixth house. And this one I was mind blown by, because it just made so much sense to me when I learned more about it. So the sixth house rules routines, everyday routines, your health, your habits, your coworkers, pets even. And Uranus is erratic. It's like chaotic and rebellious. I don't like routine. So it really makes it to where I don't like routine. I need spontaneity. I can't, live life every day the same thing. It also makes me want to have more freedom in the workplace. So this is why I decided to do something that allows me to express more of my creativity and not be so confined and doing the same things over and over and over again. It also, I once heard someone say that it also makes them dislike when people tell them what to do, which is true for me. It's like, if I know what I'm doing, just leave me alone, please. I purposely want to learn how to do everything just so I cannot be told what to do. Just leave me alone. It also stands for eccentricity. Is that a word? I don't know. But uniqueness, right? So since it's in the house of health, it definitely makes me more interested in alternative medicine. So I'm into herbal remedies, holistic, naturopathy, just that kind of thing, versus modern Western medicine. So where some people might be like, oh, you should go get a flu shot, I'm going to be like, no, I'm just going to drink my elderberry juice tincture. Don't worry about me. I'm fine for the winter. Oh, this next aspect's a little bit of a harder one. It's Pluto in the fourth house. So Pluto rules death and rebirth. Not necessarily death as in dying, but as in transformation, mainly, Don't quote me on that. I'm not a professional at this, but that's just how I take it, right? So So then the fourth house rules emotions, your emotional foundations, your childhood, relationship with mother, your home life, and Pluto is very it's kind of like a intense planet to like have there. It was definitely a turbulent childhood, power struggles, but I've also gone through intense emotional transformation. I am not the same person I used to be. I feel like I say that a lot, but it's true. Like back then I used to be very quiet. I was to myself. I was afraid of showing people who I am. I didn't really necessarily even know who I was because I struggled with creating emotional regulation. So a lot of my emotions back then were more so like anger and sadness. And uh, how do you like navigate life when it's such a turbulent household? How do you find yourself? How do you know who you're supposed to be in that environment when all the chaos is going on? So and it also is the house of your ancestors. So I don't remember what Pluto being in there has to do with my ancestors. I think it means I'm protected in some way, or I'm meant to break generational curses, something like that. I gotta look into that. Okay, the next one is Saturn. So Saturn is one of, I would say, pretty popular planet that people really, or astrologers, look into because it's the planet of restrictions, challenges, discipline, responsibilities, karma. So it's one that people are wanting to learn how to navigate because it's like, who wants challenges in your life? For me, mine was in the ninth house or on the eighth house cusp. So what that means is that in the chart, they're like little triangles. Saturn sits like right at the beginning of the ninth house. So because it's right at the beginning, it can still influence the eighth house. So lucky me, it's affecting themes of two houses. More restrictions, more challenges. So for me, I've struggled with emotional attachments. I tend to lose myself in relationships that I've noticed, and I just like suppress my needs and suppress my voice to kind of fulfill the relationship, I guess you could say. So I struggle with emotional attachments, especially. I remember even like throughout life, there's certain things I couldn't let go because there was an emotional attachment to it. And I'm trying to learn that I am whole without anything, that I just need to learn self-love and that I can provide that for myself. And I also, so that's the eighth house. But for the ninth house, it's more about self-belief, having faith, religion, higher education. So for college, I had a late start. I didn't really start after high school. And I dropped out and I went back. I ended up finishing community college, but I never did university after that. College was never really talked about or like encouraged in my household. If anything, it was, the opposite. They're like, waste of money. Where are you gonna find the money to pay for this? Like, oh my gosh, thanks. I'm on my own, I guess. But I also didn't have a religion growing up, and that ninth house also rules like the house of religion. So I was trying to find something to believe in. It really did make me philosophical though. So I was struggling to stick to something because I feel like there's answers everywhere. So why am I going to follow one thing if like I want to know everything and then decide which one resonates more with me and who I am as a person. But that part of it is not too bad because it's like I like it. I found astrology from it and I really enjoy learning about it. There has to be a balance of transformation and higher knowledge. So another placement I have is Libra Mars. So Mars represents like anger, passion, war, and aggression, and it helps you get things started and becoming active towards it, taking action. But for me, it's in the sign of Libra. So some planets don't do so well in certain signs. So although like that, all of that represents Mars, Libra is more about peace and taking your time and harmony. Like, how am I supposed to have peace and war? You can't have the two; they contradict each other. So this is what makes me take too long to take action and fearing confrontation and not really standing up for myself. But with every challenge, right, every friction, every placement, there's always something to be learned. Like, if anything, it gives me wisdom. I feel like this also has helped me to navigate situations that are with aggression or conflict, with trying to see everything from multiple perspectives. I don't just rush in. I kind of try to see the whole picture and see what's most fair. So I take action while thinking about others, what's fair with everyone. And I think that's a good quality to have. Um, so what I also learned from it is that I need to stop having the tendency to suppress my needs to maintain the peace, but to kind of make a fair outcome. So my next placement is Leo Mercury. So Mercury rules like communication, you know, your mind, your thoughts, your likes and dislikes, and it's in Leo. Leo could be very expressive and theatrical and passionate. So sometimes I can be a little goofy when I'm my storytelling and really captivate my audience. So the next placement that I have is a Leo Venus. So Venus is love, relationships, and beauty. And in Leo, it makes me really warm and affectionate. But at the same time, this puts it in my 12th house. So the 12th house is of the hidden. So people don't really see this side of me. It's more so private. And my Mercury also tends to be in there, but it comes out when I'm like really close to the people I care about. But at the same time, it's not everybody gets to see every part of me, you know. I feel like even now, like I don't know, not people don't know me to the full extent that they think they do. But yeah, so that's what the 12th house is of, like the hidden secrets. And so having my Leo Venus in the 12th house just makes me express love dramatically, but in private. And while having placements in my 12th house, I tend to love being in solitude. I like to gather my thoughts and be introspective and just have time to myself to reflect. And so I could really enjoy, you know, just having time to myself. So I didn't go over all aspects, but that's like a big part of the things that I've learned about myself that helped me to grow and understand and even validate my feelings. It just feels like, okay, everything's happening for a reason, and I am who I am, destined to become. That's how I feel. So I definitely think it could be used as a powerful tool of self-discovery with an open mind. I also think it's important to reflect on both the positives and the negatives that astrology highlights, because there's one like argument people make is like with astrology is that people like to go into it only accepting the good and kind of dismissing the bad, and I'm not sure if that's necessarily healthy. So if you really are interested in learning about yourself, try to look at, you know, everything as a whole. Consider consulting with a professional astrologer for deeper insights. You know, I myself offer astrology readings. I'm not a professional, like I said. I'm not some big expert, but I can offer some simple readings based on the things that I've learned already. I'm still growing in my own practice. So if you're interested, I do have it in my Etsy shop. I'll put it in the link below, but it's etsy.com/shop/astrology for life. And I also offer downloadable printable flashcards on my shop. So they're just like different planets and the different signs and the different houses. I personally laminate them and put them on a hoop ring so I don't lose them, and you know, they can last longer. If you have any questions, if you resonated with any of my placements and from my chart, please feel free to message me. I'll leave my Instagram handle at in the description below. Thank you for listening. Take care of yourself. Peace out.